Awesome. Well, I'm excited to kick off this podcast we got highlighting our realtor partners. I'm Chris with Swamp Rabbit Moving, and today I have a very special guest, Damian Hall. How you doing, Damian?
Great. It's cold outside, but
It is a little cold. Getting ready for the snow, huh?
yeah. A little snowmageddon.
Yeah, let's go. It's been a while. But anyways, we're going to kick this off. Kind of give us a little background and inspiration on what got you into real estate.
I kind of grew up in the business. My grandmother has been in real estate since 1984, I believe, somewhere in there. So I grew up, following her around to open houses.
Yeah.
And I had an office at one point in one of her houses that had old contracts and, her old bag phone and briefcase and all of that stuff. So got licensed junior year in college and went full-time after college with one of the top agents in Charleston. And then 2008 happened and took a break, kind of focused on property management and started a management company, which one of the best things that happened in my life was the day that I sold that company.
I can imagine a lot of headaches.
Oh man, yeah, you're always between the owner and the tenant, and both of them think they're right, or
Yeah.
It's definitely a high stress job. But started Damian Hall Group in 2015 here in Greenville, and joined Blackstream Christie's in 2017, and kind of the rest is history. We kind of skyrocketed from there. Now we're in multiple markets. We're in obviously Greenville. Yeah. We're in Lake Kiwi, Highlands, Cashers area, the Tryon Landrum market, and down in Hilton Head.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I always see you all over Facebook, and it seems like anybody in the luxury market, if you do not go with the DHG group, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that clip after this too. I'm gonna push that out there.
Absolutely. So when you got here in 2015, what was the brokerage you first started with?
So I started with a little boutique on Main Street called Conservice.
Yeah.
And that we were kind of it was owned by Tom Dillard, who owns Dillard Jones.
Yep.
It's kind of like his real estate arm. And my friend Deborah Minnick now, was the broker in charge there. And so it was kind of fun. We had it was like 10 agents in that office, and real kind of family feel.
Yeah.
And we had the kind of Dillard Jones marketing team behind us, and that was a good run. And then 2017 was kind of invited to join the Christie's that had just affiliated with Blackstream.
Yep.
And that was just a great fit for my team and the brand and what I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to be in the luxury market, so that was just kind of, you either have Christie's or Sotheby's. So
yeah.
I went that direction, and that was the best move that I could have done.
Awesome. That's super exciting. So let's talk about a little bit of what's going on in the Greenville upstate market, or even the Tryon market, or all the areas you service.
Yeah.
What are you kind of seeing in the luxury market right now?
So for us, it kind of hit the brakes just before the election. So our Q4 was pretty stagnant.
Yeah.
And then I think we had the election, the hurricane, and then the holidays, or not in that particular order, but kind of kept people pulled back from the market a little bit. So we've had, I'm sitting on 15 million in listings that normally would have had movement, and they're just not, getting much action. But I'm thinking everything I'm reading says Q1 is supposed to be the busiest Q1 for real estate in the last 4 years. So we're pretty optimistic. My phone's already started ringing, and already seeing a lot more activity on our listings now. So I think we're coming back in the luxury sector. And it's kind of, it just depends. Lake homes on Kiwi are obviously flying off the shelf and, doing really well. Downtown market, the condo market is doing well. Five Forks executive luxury is doing well.
Yeah.
We just kind of hit a, pause moment for Q4, but things are about to be rocking again.
Awesome. When things get stagnant on a luxury listing, what is kind of your go-to strategy to kind of give it a little bit of momentum to push it forward and continue to keep it in front of eyes of people that would have an interest in buying the real estate?
Yeah, that's a good question. So pretty much just keep working our kind of network. So I have a pretty robust network, with the Christie's global brand and network. So we just keep it fresh, obviously creating content. So shooting a reel or shooting a different style video that we haven't done yet, and then pushing that out on social, doing some YouTube pre-roll advertising where we're targeting that property video to different demographics and feeder markets. and just kind of trying to push it out there as far and wide as we can, and especially in those feeder markets like Chicago, Texas, and Florida that we know people are moving from.
Yep. No, we do it. We do a ton of Florida moves. I mean, either there or back. It's both ways right now. We get a lot of people that move from New York to Florida, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's way too hot," and they move halfway back up.
Yeah,
we call them halfbacks.
We see that a lot. We also see people landing in the Carolinas, and then they decide like, oh, well, I don't want to be coastal living. Maybe isn't for me, but I like the mountains, or, Charleston's too busy. Let's check out Greenville.
Oh my gosh.
So that's been kind of an interesting thing I've been noticing. So people are moving, like they'll figure out the Carolinas, and then maybe it's just not the right fit.
Yeah.
And then they'll move across state, or North Carolina, South Carolina, Asheville to Greenville.
Yep.
Hilton Head. I have one family right now moving from Hilton Head to Greenville. So that's been pretty cool to watch.
Heck yeah. I love Greenville. I think Greenville is the best market.
And we just got ranked the top 10 hottest markets for 2025 by NAR.
Yeah, it was like number 4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Super exciting. Greenville is a great place to live. It's a great place to raise a family. You're so close to everything.
Great place to own a moving company.
Great place to own a moving company, especially if it's named Swamp Rabbit Moving. So in the luxury market, what's kind of like, a real estate that just typically does like your average home or whatever, what's the differentiator? Like, why should you not hire them to list your luxury listing?
So there's a lot of nuances and complexities in that market. It's several different things. I mean, there's that. You also want somebody that is familiar with the level of marketing that property is going to need, and also has the network and the exposure to be able to get it out to the right clientele.
Yeah.
So, and then there's things like, contacts. Like, do they have the right contacts? Like, we have a concierge, we have an interior designer.
Yep.
For 5 Tropicana that we just listed, we sent our amazing interior designer. She went over and spent 2 days working with the owner and staging their furniture, moving stuff out. I think you guys help, put a bunch of stuff in storage for them. And then we have, a concierge that'll help declutter. We will send a cleaner, pressure washer, whatever they need.
Yeah.
It's a higher level of service that we offer. In addition to, unbeatable marketing, our network that can't be beat of, clientele and luxury realtors across the country and across the world.
So in luxury housing, what is kind of like that, when it comes to staging, what's the importance of staging and like just setting the tone for the listing? What are you trying to do when you stage a home?
So you're wanting to make it look like a model home, essentially. So you want the buyer to come in, they're having a hard time visualizing things. So staging can be, you need to add things, or you need to take things away, or you need to rearrange things. Typically, we try to work with the sellers, furnishings, a lot of times they'll have nice furnishings, but they'll just kind of,
Too much clutter.
Yeah, a lot of clutter.
Yeah.
And then an interior designer or stager can help, like, okay, we need to get rid of this, move this, rearrange this. If it's completely empty, staging's critical to show off. I mean, you'll have this stunning $2 million home that is empty. It's going to show terribly with photos and on the video. So it helps if you can get either physical staging in there, or we're using a lot of digital staging right now. So we'll even, like, a lot of the properties will have, like, the back deck will be empty or something. They already moved that furniture to the next house, but the house will be fully furnished. So we'll just digitally stage that area.
Oh, that's really cool.
A lot of realtors miss that or don't pay attention to that detail.
Yeah.
But we'll literally, like, say the pool deck is, the pool's open and looks good, but there's not furniture around it. So we'll digitally stage, chaise lounge and some plants and things around the pool.
Yeah.
So we can do that. It's like $30 a picture. So why not, to really spruce up that area for the photos?
Paint the picture of what it can look like.
Right.
Yep. Well, cool. That leads me right into my next question. What's technology looking like in the real estate world? Like, we see all this AI coming about and all kinds of cool tools that you can use to elevate your business. How's that looking in the real estate market, and are you utilizing anything?
Oh yeah, so I go down a AI rabbit hole. A lot, nerding out on that. So there's a couple of different ways. So AI can help us from, like, an agent perspective, like, to save time. Scheduling. There's a cool AI app that helps with your calendar. So it's, it rearranges things. If you miss a meeting or something like that, it automatically will, like, schedule travel time and, like, decompression time after a meeting, take notes for you in the meeting. So there's a lot of really cool apps, and we could go into, a whole other podcast about like some of those. But looking into what AI can do for you as an agent to help save you time and streamline things. I think it won't be long until we see AI agents coming in, and then you literally just, chat with your bot until it, schedule these 5 showings for next Tuesday. And then it's going to go and automatically schedule those, compile the, listing info, the disclosures, email that all to you, save it to your calendar with GPS coordinates. So like one little entry of the addresses and what you wanted to do, and then it's taking off and doing all these tasks for you, and kind of setting it up and being your assistant, essentially, I think is what's
that's super exciting because it makes you more efficient, makes you focus more on what truly makes you money, and revenue generating task.
And I think from the client perspective too, I mean, it's going to help you make their experience a lot easier. So if you're busy, you're not always able to respond to a client immediately. I think a lot of these different apps and technologies that are coming down the pipeline are going to be able to help your client get answers they need when you're not available. Like I'm working on a Damian bot. I'm going to call it DHGPT. So it literally will be a client-facing thing, and it's anything like, okay, how long does it take to get my listing on the market?
Yeah.
We need a stager, or who do you recommend for an interior designer? Like a million questions that they would have asked me before, and I would have had to answer or email. That's all going to be uploaded into that GPT, and the clients will be given access to that. And so I think that's like a really cool thing that we're trying to be, first to market with.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. And honestly, what it'll do too, I think, is take out a lot of human error, right? Like when writing contracts, machines don't make mistakes,
right,
when they're trained appropriately. Yeah. So it'd be really cool to see how that takes a hold of the real estate market. What's your future outlook for I guess specifically this area in the Greenville upstate over the next 5 to 10 years? What do you think the real estate market's going to turn out to be? Like, do you think we're going to continue to see this massive growth that we're still seeing, or do you think it's going to slow down a little bit?
I think it's just going to get busier. I mean, I think it's going to get crazier. I think we are kind of Charlotte 5 years. We're 5 years from kind of like behind Charlotte. It's the luxury market is definitely headed that direction as well. 3, 4, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have envisioned anything over 2 million is kind of like was tip top market.
Oh yeah.
So I think as demand continues to increase, the spotlight's on us big time.
Yeah.
And a lot of money. People are retiring from bigger cities with higher cost of living and higher priced homes, and they're coming here and really realizing like, wow. I had a client move from L.A. and he said, I lived on a postage stamp lot on Manhattan Beach and I sold it for $3 million. He's building this massive, gorgeous estate for $3 million.
Oh yeah,
off of Roper Mountain Road, and he's like, basically, it's just a no brainer. And then I had dinner with he and his friend. His friend did the same thing, relocated from L.A. and he bought a $4 million house in Hartness. And he said, basically, I made $4 million on my sale in LA. He's like, so this was like a free house. So I think you're going to see a lot of that, as people are trying to get out of those bigger cities and move here, they're seeing the value there. And, 3 and 4 million to them, they've made that an equity in these bigger cities. And they're just like, they're building a house twice as big as what they could get there.
Yeah, if not bigger. That's just crazy to even think about. What's the most personal or unique home that you've sold, and what made it stand out to you?
Ooh, that's a good one. We sell a lot of really cool homes. I would say my favorite was the house on Lake Lure.
Yeah.
So that bad boy had a slide that would launch you into the lake at 45 miles an hour.
I saw that.
It's gone viral on TikTok since I sold it. I'm like, why the hell did I not think of that? I actually went down the slide with a GoPro when we sold it because it's the record for Lake Lure. And I was like, I was going to do a video for that, announcing the sale, and like you go down on a boogie board, and when I hit the water, the boogie board went under, and I went head over limb, barreling into the water. GoPro went flying into the middle of the lake. So in 100 years, somebody's going to find that GoPro, and there'll be some interesting footage there. And that house also had a waterfall that kind of cascaded from the front of it all the way down, and obviously overlooking the beautiful Lake Lure. And so that was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's really cool. I remember seeing that video on social media. I was like, man, that's an awesome slide. Imagine just walking out your house and just shooting down to the lake via slide.
It was like a killer party house too. I mean, it had a hot tub, like it had cypress columns from a Mississippi swamp. I mean, it was just a really, really cool place to be.
I wonder if that house survived the hurricane. Do you know?
It did.
It did?
I'm not sure how the boathouse is doing, but
yeah,
it's still doing all right.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. So we'll wrap this up. What do you want somebody, a potential buyer or seller looking for a real estate agent, what do you want them to know about Damian Hall and the DHG group?
So we don't do, my slogan is that we don't do anything, we don't do ordinary. So everything we do is looked at through a different lens. Like we're scrapping every template that most agents are using. When we do videography, photography, like we're not just dispatching our photographer out to shoot 20, 50 photos.
Yeah.
I'm personally there, like overseeing. We've like had a meeting to like tell the story of the house. We have a plan of what B-roll we're shooting. We're going to shoot 4 or 5 different formats of videos, from a cinematic tour to a walkthrough tour to multiple reels. And, and that's all to plug into our marketing, which is, hard to beat. And it's global. Yeah. So we're, pushing them out to New York Times, Wall Street Journal, PR team working on getting, press editorials for us on the property. And then, we have a network that's really hard to beat of brokers across the world that have buyers coming into our market that we can really leverage.
That's what I was going to say. I really appreciate y'all's take on like your video shoots through the showing of the house, because there's a storyline behind it, right? Like it's always something cool and it's exciting. It's fun to watch. And you feel like you're just kind of watching a movie for a minute. Yeah. But it's really cool to see, and I definitely appreciate it. And I'm sure a lot of people out there appreciate the way y'all tell stories through your showings.
And that's, Christy's tagline is every home has a story. Let us tell yours.
Yeah.
And that's true. I mean, so we're not going to go through and just do a vanilla video. Like we're going to do like that Lake Lure house.
One of those.
Yeah. That Lake Lure house. Like I hired a mastercraft, a boat, captain. I brought in a wakeboarder, and, our video guy was shooting drone from the dock, following the wakeboard coming in, with the house in the background with the waterfall going down. I mean, it was epic.
You're like shooting a Hollywood production over here. It's like,
we've insane. Done, we rented we had the $22 million Circle Creek listed. We rented a 58 Rolls Royce for that shot, and that looked really, really amazing. We had horses, people riding horses through the arenas and equestrian amenities. So just adding those lifestyle elements has been a big thing for our videos. That's
awesome, man. Well, super thankful for you coming on the podcast, and look forward to continuing to support each other. And thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm honored. Can I tell a quick little Swamp Rabbit story?
Sure.
So just wanted to brag on Swamp Rabbit for a minute. I've got a cool story. Yeah. So I had a client, I'd sold her house about 3 months ago, and she was moving out. Swamp Rabbit, big move, lots of stuff, putting her stuff in storage. She was having a house renovated that wasn't ready for 3 or 4 months. Yeah. And so the buyer moved into the house, and she said, "Where are the 2 bathroom mirrors?" And
I remember the story.
The seller had these novelty, antique mirrors that were just hanging on a screw. So she thought she could take them. So anyway, the buyer has a fit. I mean, absolutely. The agent and the buyer are just blowing me up. Where are the mirrors? Where are the mirrors? You owe us the mirror. I'm like, they're literally in a vault somewhere in a warehouse. Yeah. Like I can't, can you wait until she moves and then we can, no, they're literally threatening to sue us over 2 mirrors. So I called you, and I'm like, any way you can help me out? Like, I know this is a needle in a haystack, but like, if you can find those mirrors, like it would save the day for us and our client, our mutual client. And Chris did just, had his team go locate the 2 mirrors, and literally I didn't even have to ask. He's like, I'm having them driven back to the house up there. So that's the level of service, and that's why we appreciate working with you guys.
Absolutely. Moving is stressful, and we always look to take that stress out of it, any way we can. So appreciate the shout out, man.
Yeah. Appreciate you, and appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Thanks.